Today we're trying to kill our opponent with an insect, a spacecraft, and a whole bunch of treasures. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Much Abrew About Nothing. And this week, we are heading to our new standard format to try to kill our opponents with treasures. So let's talk about our treasure deck, what it's trying to do, jump into some games, see the deck in action. So our deck today is built around Biotech Specialist, which I think is one of the craziest cards from Edge of Eternities. It's a 2-mana Gruul Insect Scientist. It's a 1/3. When it enters, you make a lander token, one of those tokens that you can sack to ramp its growth, and then it says, when you sack an artifact, this creature deals 2 damage to target opponent. So by itself, you can play this, you can sack the lander to do a little ramp and hit your opponent for 2. That's fine, but we're trying to turn Biotech Specialist into a game-ending combo piece. I will say, we do have a little lander ramp package, which I think is pretty cute. We have Overlord of the Hauntwoods just because it's a good ramp card, but our main plan for ramping is Sammy's Curiosity, Biotech Specialist, and Larval Scoutlander. So Larval Scoutlander, it's a 3-mana spacecraft that when it enters, you can sack a land to ramp 2 lands onto the battlefield, so kind of a hero, but you can also sack a lander, and if you sack a lander instead of a land, then you actually just double ramp, which makes this card absolutely absurd. When you double ramp for 3 mana, it is maybe the best ramp spell in Standard. So Sammy's Curiosity is just 1 mana, gain 2, make a lander token. So we can either sack it to ramp it growth, or hopefully sack it to Scoutlander to double ramp it growth. And then we got Biotech Specialist. So these cards just ramp us early in the game, and they work with the artifact sack plan for Biotech Specialist. So what are we ramping into? And the answer is cards that can make a ton of treasures. So the real plan to win with Biotech Specialist is if we can get 10 treasures, and honestly with some extra synergies, we don't even usually need a full 10 treasures, but if we can get 10 treasures, we just win the game. We sack them all, each deals 2 damage. With Biotech Specialist, that's 20 damage on the spot. So how do we make a million treasures? We got a few options. Hell to Pay, a red and X sorcery from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, deals X damage to target creature. And then we get to make a number of tap treasures equal to the amount of excess damage that we dealt. So if we hit a 1/1 with this and deal 8 damage to it, we're going to get 7 treasures, for example. We also have Goldvein Hydra. We can just dump all of our mana into it, make this massive trampling, hasty, vigilant threat, and when it dies, we get that many treasures. And then one hit the Motherlode, which for 7 mana lets us discover 10. But if the card we discover's mana cost is less than 10, we make a number of tap treasures to equal the difference. So these cards can buy themselves, make enough treasures to let us win the game with Biotech Specialist, but these cards, they have one problem, which is the treasures they make come into play tapped, which means we can't simply Hell to Pay, immediately sack all of our treasures, burn you out of the game with Biotech Specialist, but we have a card that solves this problem in Magda the Horde Master. So Magda the Horde Master, 2 mana 2/2. If we commit a crime, we get a treasure, which we do on occasion. The real payoff, though, is sack 3 treasures, make a 4/4 red scorpion dragon with flying and haste. So what this means is all those tap treasures from Hell to Pay, Goldvein Hydra, hit the Motherlode, we can immediately convert into damage with Biotech Specialist and into even more damage with the hasty 4/4 dragon scorpions by sacking them to Magda 3 at a time. So let's say we have 3 treasures. We sack them all to Magda. That's going to trigger Biotech Specialist to hit our opponent for 6, and it's going to give us a hasty 4/4 that can hit for 4, so that's 10 damage by itself, which means with Biotech Specialist and Magda, we kill our opponent from 20 with just 6 treasures on the battlefield, and they can even be trap treasures, which makes it really, really strong with Hell to Pay and hit the Motherlode and Goldvein Hydra. So that's basically the goal of the deck. Make these treasures, sack them to Magda, sack them to make mana if we can, if they're untapped, burn our opponent out of the game with Biotech Specialist. We also have Mirror Trash Tactician and Hugs, just to give us some card advantage. Mirror works really well with our X spells, since we can expend 8 once we get a bunch of mana to impulse draw cards, also gains us life. Hugs, we can just dump all our mana into, impulse draw a bunch of cards, make an extra land drop. For removal, Torch the Tower, Scorching Shot, to go along with Hell to Pay, of course. Mana base, pretty simple, just a ton of dual lands, 1 creature land, some basic lands, and that is our Biotech Specialist treasure deck. And that's our Much Abrew deck for this week. So let's jump into some games and see if this convoluted plan of making treasures with Hell to Pay, to sack to Magda, to make dragons, to drain our opponent with Biotech Specialist can actually work. Anyway, everyone, that's our deck for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. Much ado about nothing time. We are playing some Biotech Specialist treasure combo. Basically, we're killing people with treasures in standard, thanks to some new Edge of Eternity cards. And this hand looks pretty good. We got Biotech Specialist, our most important card. We got Magda, our best sack outlet. And then Gold Vein Hydra to eventually make us some treasures once it dies. Seems fine. That's about what we want. I mean, that's the goal of the deck, right? Is Biotech Specialist, if we get 10 treasures, wins us the game. We don't even need that many, though, if we have something like Magda, because it makes hasty flyers, so we get even more damage. But that's the main plan of the deck. Well, let's lead on the tapped Stomping Grounds. Go. Also, I don't know how many of you watched this. I did an opening of Edge of Eternities on the unboxing channel, and my goodness, do the Galaxy foils look so nice. The Stomping Grounds made me think of it, but the Galaxy foil Shocklands look so good. Opponent leads on a Nesting Bot. Well, Nesting Bot makes me think Aristocrats most likely. Thankfully, we get down our Biotech Specialist. So when an artifact gets sacked, we get to hit our opponent for 2. So Magda, it's a good sack outlet for treasures, but we need 3 of them. We have to sack them in 3s. So it can't just sack like a single treasure, but it also makes treasures as we do some criming. Although we're not a super crimey deck. Opponent, Bart, little sack outlet action. Yeah, let's starting town, and I think we're just going to impend the Overlord. I don't really want to play Magda and let our mana go to waste. This also ramps us into a better Gold Vein Hydra, which is nice. Gold Vein, the bigger the better. The more power, the more treasures it eventually makes. All right, Sephiroth, no. Infestation Sage. Okay, better than a Sephiroth and a Vengeful Blood Witch. So opponent's definitely an Aristocrats deck. Getting in with the Bart can't really block because they can just sack something to pump. I think Aristocrats gets a ton better. A ton better because of Edge of Eternities. The new sack outlet is not only really, really good, but just having redundancy in the sack outlet slot is kind of huge. Now there's Sephiroth, Blood Witches, Blood Artists, and some other ones that are worse, but still even more. Now you have 2 sack outlets. I feel like Aristocrats should actually be a really good deck. There are good hate cards for it, but all right. It's Gold Vein Hydra time. We're going to dump all of our manas into Gold Vein Hydra, and when it dies, we get 4 treasures, which kind of can put opponents in the damned if you do, damned if you know situation where, like, if they kill the Gold Vein, we get a bunch of treasures, and then we sack those treasures for free, and each is 2 damage with the Biotech Specialist, or that's the idea anyway. We'll see if it works, but that's the plan. I feel like Biotech Specialist is a busted card. It's one of those cards from the set that I'm just like, that card's gotta be busted. It's gotta be busted. We're kind of in that position already, as crazy as that sounds, where we kind of are okay with Gold Vein Hydra dying, and I guess we're also okay with just nugging our opponent for 4 a turn. Let's play Commercial District. Do a little survey. Ugh, more Commercial Districts, all right. Yeah, I mean, Sammy's Curiosity I know looks janky, but it works really well with Larval Scoutlander. Plus, I mean, still, it might not be that bad. You still kind of build a rampant growth, right? If you play it on 1, and on turn 2 crack it, you sort of got rampant growth with extra steps. Yeah, let's crack a lander. Do a little rampant, thin the deck. Also committed crime, so Magda gonna trigger to make a treasure. Unimpend. Opponent's down to 12. I mean, I think our opponent's at the point where if they kill the Gold Vein Hydra, they can sack stuff to trigger the Blood Witch, so not quite, but they're very close to if the Gold Vein Hydra dies, our opponent's going to die the next turn. Opponent gets in with the Insect, increasing their speed, and tap land. Ooh, okay. Well, there's the combo. I mentioned Sammy's Curiosity. Kind of in the middle on is a standalone card. It is insane with Larval Scoutlander, though. If you can stack a lander to this and double ramp for 3 mana, it's so good. I don't even care if you turn it on. I don't even care if we ever turn it on. We sack it. We commit a crime. We get a treasure. We burn you with a Biotech Specialist. Opponent down to 10. We have a ton of mana if we can ever find like a Hell to Pay. Hell to Pay would be our best draw here. Hit you down to 6. Yeah, I guess we just hit the Bart. It is awkward with the sack outlet out, but Hell to Pay can make a ton of treasures. Well, that's unimpend. We also have one hit the mother load, which is actually kind of hilarious, but we'll see. We'll see. Treasure shenanigans for days. Opponent getting in with the insect, hitting us down to 12. Sure. Speed at its maximum and a voice of victory. And wow, opponent. You know when you just legend rule your Bart to trigger a Blood Witch, you know you're getting desperate for life and a land. Well, we're lucky our opponent's never drawn a Sephiroth, although we are also not running incredibly well here. Man, I wish we could get another treasure. Get in, hit you. If we get another treasure, then we could trigger Magda. Oh my god, they're gonna kill it? Wait, don't they die if they kill the Gold Vein Hydra? But if they kill the Gold Vein, we're gonna get, all right, opponent sacks and drains. Maybe they can gain enough life, we'll see. Infestation Sites makes you token. Grows the Bart, and then sack something. All right, sack another token, grow the Bart. So Gold Vein gonna die. Opponent takes 0 for now, but we get 4 tapped treasures. So Magda, sack the treasures, hit ya. Oh, I'm kind of dumb. I should have sacked all the tapped one first. Yeah, we could have dealt 1 more damage there. Because we could have left an untapped treasure. Yeah, that was just a lazy punt. Well, sack 4 more treasures. Is this still enough? Unfortunately, it's post-combat, so the hasty dragons can't get in this turn. Our opponent can live, but they're going to have to sack literally every non-Bart creature on the board, which I think means we still just win. We still just win next turn. But yeah, we would have had lethal right away had I clicked properly. We should have had the untapped treasure, trigger Mog to make the trap treasure, sack all those, and then we'd have 1 more treasure that we could sack here. Because the opponent goes to 1. Awkwardly, we will pass the turn, 1 damage short. But I don't know how we actually lose. Even if they draw a Sephiroth, we don't lose. Well, raise. Okay. Opponent does not draw a Raise the Past. And we got there. We are doing some treasure shenanigans in new standard. And this hand seems okay. We got a Magda. We don't have a Biotech Specialist to go with it, but Magda and a bunch of ramp to opponent mono red. Sunset Strike Master. And let's just play a larval Scout Lander. Sack a land. It's so much better with a lander, but even like with a land, it's still a Harrow. Harrow spacecraft, and look at that. Station it up. 2 charge counters. Only 5 more to go, which we can actually get with the Overlord next turn. Opponent Manadork, Inti. Oh, there's the lander. Well, we're just gonna Overlord still. We can Overlord, get a land, station up the spacecraft, build ourselves a little 3/3 flyer. I think we actually just stay on defense. Kind of want to block this Inti. All right, there's a Dawnsire, Council's Dreadnought. Wait, are you staged? Oh no. Is this fair Dawnsire? Is this just our opponent tapping creatures to station it? Well, they're completely tapped down. Let's Sammy's Curiosity. Let's play a larval Scout Lander, sack the lander, grab us a couple more lands, get in, smack ya. Down to 9, and then I think we're gonna Scorching Shot the Inti. We also get a treasure with the Magda, which is nice. Crime 'em. Magda the criminal. I know Dawnsire. When there's a Dawnsire in the battlefield, I expect that bad things can happen. Like that 100 damage mode, if you're playing this in mono red, you're probably playing something along the lines of the Against Odds deck that we played this week. We were doing it with systems overload to get the counters. Our opponent might be trying to do it fairly, little by little, but we will see. They're getting there, and opponent got up to 10. I mean, there's a lot of conversation about how hard would it be to turn on these spacecraft. I think as our opponent's showing here, they're just playing random dorks. Like, they're just playing random dorks, and they have 10 counters, and they had a creature left over, 2 creatures left over, but creatures to attack with. Now we're in a very awkward spot. So our opponent's down to 6, which is the good news. We need treasures. We need treasures. Opponent's gonna kill the flyer. We need treasures for the Magda. If we can hit a way to make a bunch of treasures, we can steal this win. Otherwise, second Magda. Well, that's a Magda that doesn't die to Dawnsire, but our opponent's kind of assembled the Abyss here, where they are just going to kill one of our things every turn. And if they ever draw a Screaming Nemesis, they're going to kill us. Wow, they passed? Okay. Overlord of the Hauntwood. I mean, we're going to play it. It doesn't make treasures, but better than doing nothing. Get the body down. We might as well turn on our spacecraft so we can hit our opponent to 3, which is actually kind of huge. Getting our opponent down to 3 means now making treasures for Magda isn't out with Hasty Flyers, and Biotech Specialist just literally wins us the game if we play it. So we have multiple draws that just win us the game on the spot, although I think our opponent does too. At least has Screaming Nemesis, I would assume, as a draw. Also, wait, could they not just kill us? I guess they're afraid of the card in hand, but could they not just fire up? Could they not just fire up the spacecraft and make us die? I guess they're afraid if it goes wrong, they lose on the backswing. What a funny situation. Well, get in with Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Opponent has to block. But I think if they just tapped everything, they would have got over 20 counters, and we would have died. We don't have an answer. Opponent's going to double block the Overlord. Do we care? Yeah, we're going to let it go. I think our focus here is just getting creatures off the battlefield. Apparently, our opponent's not in a hurry. Yeah, let's kill the Strike Master, I guess. Get a treasure. One of our tokens is a lander, so we would still be a treasure short. We just need a way to make a single treasure, Restless Ridgeline. Okay. What a weird game. We're locked under this Dawnsire, which actually is a brutal card once you get it loaded up. Opponent staying on defense, worried about the creature land. Yeah, let's play Overlord. Play Overlord. I don't want to run out the Magda until we find a treasure, because they will just kill the Magda. With opponent at 3, we need 1 hasty 4/4 to win the game. Opponent, combat, gonna get in with the FOMO. Well, sure, we lose our Overlord, but we have to fire up the Ridgeline, get rid of the FOMO. One way to minimize this 100 damage to our creatures is just by keeping the creatures off the battlefield. Oh, worst time for another Magda. Well, okay. Magda part 3. We need a treasure, not a Magda. Get in, found it, get a block with the Yearling. Sure. Okay. Well, I mean, we have lethal next turn. Opponent. Random Dork. Okay. Chump blocker to stay alive. Our opponent's just trying to stay alive to draw a Screaming Nemesis, I think. Oh, that's a lander, not a treasure. We need a treasure, not a lander. Get in, hit ya. Found it, blocks. Oh, we're not even gonna play Sammy's Curiosity. Opponent. Now our opponent's gonna go for it. Systems override. Death Star activated, and that's a 2020. Would you like to deal 100 damage to your spacecraft? Opponent says no. Man, we had so many turns to draw something. Well, it was an interesting game, though. Interesting game, even though we lost. We are playing some treasure shenanigans, looking to hit the mother load, you might say, in Edge of Eternities standard. Actually, Biotech Specialist. We're a Biotech Specialist deck. Opponent, Voyaging Glidecar, eh? Sure. Well, we will Restless Ridgeline. Opponent, land. Dragoon's Lance. Gonna get the job selection going. And gets and hits us. Well, we will play a land. Biotech Specialist, not a bad draw. Not a bad draw. Let's get down Biotech. Make the lander. I've been trying to figure out how good landers actually are, and I'm coming around to them being pretty good if you care about ramping. Like, I think the best lander cards, yeah, it's a rampant growth. You gotta spend 2 mana, but I think the best lander cards are good enough that they're worth it. Sammy's Curiosity, that one we'll see. I can't shake the feeling that it could actually be like a staple level card, because we don't get Rampant Growth in Standard, right? If we lived in an era when we actually had Rampant Growth in Standard, it wouldn't be very appealing. But maybe like a Rampant Growth that you got to spend 1 mana on and you gain 2 life, maybe that's good enough. Let Sammy's Curiosity, make a lander, crack the lander, burn ya, and do a little ramping. I mean, we have a lot of big stuff in hand. If we can, opponent, Glidecar, sure. Now I'm afraid to block it anyway. Maybe we should have just attacked, because I'm too scared to actually block it, that they're gonna have some honor or some weird combat trig. Now let's play the land untapped, and I think it's time for Goldvein part 1. Goldvein X4. All right, opponent does not camel. No camel blocking here. Oh, hard light container. That's actually a very good answer. I guess that's the downside of, that is the downside to Goldvein Hydra, is it's so good when it dies. Another Voyaging Glide car. So good when it dies. But then if it gets exiled, it's actually pretty bad. It needs a leaves. If it had a leaves trigger for its treasures, or like go to exile, like a Sir Von Dam. Yeah, I mean, we gotta take it, and down to 8. We can't really give up our... Ooh, hell to pay. There will be hell to pay. Do we have to hell to pay the camel, though? If we hell to pay the camel, we only have 1 excess damage. 2, I guess, if we untap Shockland. We can play the Magda. Magda untap Shockland. That doesn't actually do it. Yeah, we're not gonna shock. We're just gonna go... Yeah, I think we don't shock. I want the extra treasure. You know what? Let's play Magda. And we will shock. I think this is actually better. Magda treasure, kill the can. This gets the Magda on the battlefield. We still get a treasure for Magda, and we have Magda down. I think that's better, because we're going to end up with 1 treasure either way. I guess the other option was 2 treasures with the Shockland, but no Magda. I think the Magda is probably better than a treasure. Just having another body seems relevant with us being at 6. What are we doing over there, opponent? Warden of the Inner Sky. Okay, that's a concern. Once that gets flying, that is an issue. We kind of need to combo kill. We need to hit the mother load. Actually, I don't know if we do that or we Goldvein next turn. Opponent, Voyaging Glide Car Part 3. Gliding all over the place is Big Daddy Shindy. Opponent, you're gonna tap the Warden of the Inner Sky, do a little scrying. This Dragoon's Lance or whatever it is has dealt so... Oh, not again. Hard light container. Man, if we could kill that glide car, we would be rolling in the value. This Dragoon's Lance is actually kind of wrecking us. This 2-1 flyer has dealt like 16 damage or something. Not 16. 14 damage, maybe? Ooh. Oh, so if we held to pay, we make a bunch of treasures, but they're going to be tapped. If we had the Magda, we would have just won, I think. I guess we just put it all into killing the Warden of the Inner Sky. Because that's going to gain flying, and that will kill us. So opponent takes 2. Kill it. We get 3 treasures. Stay back on D. See if we can stay alive. Our opponent's out of cards. This is going to be so close. This is so close. Novice Inspector, sure. I mean, they kill us in 2 turns just with this... this job select equipment. They've done so much damage. That has been almost all the damage. Is just them chipping in for 2 each turn. We don't want to chump here, but we will if we have to stay alive. I think they could have used probably could have used the clue. 1, 2. Well, I guess I can do it with the novice. I was thinking they could use the clue to power up one of their glide cars, but Bound ain't gonna leave them back. Get in, hit us. Down to 2. Well, this is the turn we need something good to happen. There's a mountain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, hit the mother load. If we can hit the mother load into a Magda, we win. I guess we can also just cast a really big Hydra, which I think is enough because we get 2 damage here. Hit our opponent down to 10. 8, 6. And then Hydra, they can fire up a glide car to block, but I think that should still be enough. Burn you down to 6. I mean, I haven't done all the math, but this has got to be lethal, right? It's got to be lethal. They can only fire up 1 glide car, which has a little more toughness, but that is a big trampling Hydra. An opponent scoops it up. They almost got us with job select, but in the end, treasures. Too good. I don't know how good the deck is. I'm still... Whoa, Leyline, eh? Leyline on Sliver. Okay, we're up against Slivers. Let's do it. Opponent. Land and. Oh, all right. Sonoti Scout. So, oh, there it is. They found the Sliver card. I mean, that's got to be the goal of their deck, right? Well, let's play the Magda. Be nice if we could find a way to make a lander token to really maximize our ramping. Land. And passes. Let's Scorching Shot. Hit the Cenote Scout. Make a treasure. I think because we know they have Affinity for Sliver artifact in hand, I think we just need to keep the merfolk, which are slivers, off the battlefield. Because if they get that down too quickly, it can kind of take over a game. Like, 2 AC 2/2 double, or 2 AC 1/1 double strikers each turn is kind of a lot of damage. Well, playing the land, and well, I guess there's gonna be some hell to pay. We do have to sack our treasure for this, although we will get back another one, which helps. Thanks to Magda. We're actually our deck is not that much of a crime deck. Magda's here mostly to be a treasure sack outlet, and the 4/4 flyers matter, but hit you down to 16. But every once in a while, we go on a little crime spree, and Magda gets even better. Who commits crime against merfolk? Seriously, untap land. Down to 14. Llanowar Elves. Llanowar Sliver. Cenote Scout Sliver. Blue Leyline's so funny about it. Floodbit Drowner on the top. Are we keeping it? Looks like the answer is yes. And gonna crack the map to go the Llanowar Sliver. I mean, next turn they can play this. Oh, if we kill something, they can't. We're like, this is a control draw for our deck. We're just drawing all of our. We don't even have that much removal, but we're just drawing all of the removal. Well, let's get rid of that Llanowar Elf, make another treasure. We're one treasure away from Mogding. It's better if we have a. Yeah, let's get in and see if our opponent wants to trade. I'm still worried about them playing that artifact. That would be an issue. Hitting us down to 18. Sure. And passes. Are we? Yeah. All right. Floodpit Drowner. Sure. Tap down the Magda. Yeah, let's just keep ramping. We could have played the Goldvein pre-combat, but then our opponent would have just tapped that down. So there's not much point to it because we couldn't attack anyway. If we do it this way, at least we get more mana to cast an even bigger Goldvein next turn. Is it sliver time? Real sliver time? I know they're technically all the merfolk are slivers, but is it time for a literal sliver? Is it sliver time? No. Deeproot Pilgrimage to make slivers, I guess. Opponent gets in. Makes a sliver. Unfortunately for our opponent, Floodpit Drowner has Vigilance. The downside that is Vigilance does not trigger the Deeproot Pilgrimage. Now it'll trigger. Opponent's going to shuffle in the Magda, although we do got a backup Magda in hand. Huh. Well, I guess it's time for some Goldvein in. So we get Goldvein for 7 with the treasures, then Magda gets worse. You know what? I think we do. This gives us theoretically a 2-turn clock, which seems good. Get in, hit ya. All right, gonna take it down to 5. Actually, play the land, turn on our spacecraft past the turn. This gives us a little more damage. It gives us a little more damage. To get across the finish line. Wow, we managed to keep them from ever playing the sliver card. We just drew enough removal. They had the turn 0 ley line too. There's the Thrumming Hivestone. Hits us, makes a merfolk that's also a sliver. So on their upkeep, they get double striking hasty sliver tokens. But is there going to be an upkeep? We drop to 10. Hopefully not. We need, wow, another one. Okay, there really better not be. Opponent says GG. We got another Hydra. Well, haste up the crew. And yeah, here we go. Spacecraft and Hydra. Just the way that Richard Garfield drew it up. Found it. Gonna block. It doesn't matter. They have trample anyway, so it doesn't matter. And opponent. Why are they not dead? Hey, there we go. An opponent a little bit dead, and interesting to see him try to sliver, but we got him. We are playing some Edge of Eternity standard and doing some treasure shenanigans with Biotech Specialist. Kind of like a really weird treasure aristocrats deck. That's how I like treasure aristocrat combo is how I think of this deck. The combo is make enough treasures to kill you with Biotech Specialist and Magda. That's the goal. Opponent, Voice of Victory. So many aristocrats decks. People love them aristocrats. Land and Biotech Specialist have a blocker. We could also Sammy's Curiosity and then sack the lander to torch the tower to kill the Voice. That sounds like a lot of cards being spent to kill a Voice of Victory, though. Let's just do this. Hopefully they don't have a Sephiroth. That's probably the worst. If they, like, Sephiroth, sack one of the tokens. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. See if we get punished for not cashing in the lander to kill. All right, a Bart, sure. I mean, I guess that's still good for our opponent. Because they can sack the tokens to grow the Bart. Yeah, we might end up... Well, now we might end up sacking the lander to try to kill the Bart. We can't let that snowball too far out of control. Well, opponent. Gonna sack, grow the Bart, and pass. Well, let's torch the tower. We're going to go after the Bart. Our opponent can sack... This is actually kind of funny. They can sack the Voice of Victory. We hit you for 2. They can sack the Voice of Victory to save the Bart. If they do that, then I think we just held to pay for 1 to kill the Bart. And we kind of built the jankiest Wrath I've ever seen. Do we need an untapped land? Yes, I think so. It's going to be good with hugs. Well, all right. The saddest hell to pay, but it gets the job done. Okay. The board is clean. Get in there, Biotech Specialist. You beat down insect. Pound it down to 17. Plays a swamp and even more Voice of Victories and a Vengeful Blood Witch. Well, play the land, and I think it's Goldvein Hydra time. Goldvein X3. I always feel, every time I play Goldvein, I'm like, this card's actually really good. Why does no one play Goldvein? But it always, every time I played it, feels good. No matter what deck I played in, I'm like, man, this actually feels like a good card. Wow, opponent. Gonna say Frisky. Gets in with the Voice of Victory. Well, block a token, kill the voice. I mean, maybe they have a mass reanimation effect, and that's what they're trying to set up. Opponent drains us, down to 11. And Disturbing Mirth to draw a couple cards. Sure. And Blood Witch, down to 10. Opponent tap land and another Bart. All right, sure. We find, ooh, another Biotech Specialist. We really kind of want this Goldvein Hydra to die. Let's get in, see if our opponent kills it. With 2 Biotech Specialists, it would be very easy to burn our opponent out of the game, down to 14. I guess we can Biotech Specialist into a lander and hit you for 4. I mean, our opponent's already at the point where they really can't afford to kill the Goldvein. They could exile it or something, but they can't really afford to kill it because then the treasures are going to kill them. All right, second Disturbing Mirth. They do go pretty well together. Sack the first one to the second one, do a little manifesting. I feel like Disturbing Mirth's close to being a good sacrifice card. It's kind of just in the wrong colors because most sack decks aren't in red, but maybe that'll change with Edge of Eternities. Opponent, looking at our biotechs, gonna Plasm Bolt. Well, we will sack the lander in response. Burn you down to 9. Grab a land. So I guess we can Hugs X2 next turn. 3 if we draw a land. We probably will. Ooh, hell to pay. The treasures are trapped, and we don't, or tapped, and we don't have a Magda to sacrifice them. But we can still hell to pay for 5 on the... We got to go on the Bart, because if we go on anything else, they just sack it. Yeah, I think this is better than Hugs here. So hell to pay the Bart. If our opponent wants to do sack stuff, they got to do it now before the Bart dies. And then we should get... Wow, 4 treasures. Okay. I mean... Wait, you didn't hit you. So our opponent has to kill the Biotech Specialist right now or else they lose. If they don't kill it right now, they are super dead. We just sack the treasures, like for free. That's what treasures do. Ooh, torch the tower, sacking Disturbing Mirth. Okay, opponent. Yeah. Well, now we need to find another Biotech Specialist to close out the game. Opponent had the answer. Wow, this ended up being a close game. Fear of missing out. Oh, Munitions Massacre. Okay. Yeah, hopefully we don't die to one of those. I mean, we wouldn't right now, but if we build a board, Munitions Massacre could get you. Oh, hit the Mother Load. Did we just hit the Mother Load? Let's Hugs. Actually, you know what? Hit the Mother Load's kind of hilarious. Let's hit the Mother Load. Discover 10. Can we hit something that wins us the game? Oh, hey. Well, I mean... That's fine. So we can sack a land, ramp, thin the deck. We have about 1 million treasures now. Literally 10 treasures, which means We can cast a really big Hugs next turn. You know what? I'm a little worried about dying. Let's play this. Let's play this Sammy's Curiosity to make sure we don't accidentally die to some aristocrat shenanigans. Ooh, what's a sack outlet? Okay, that's a good one. That is a good one. How much mana we can put into Hugs that will leave us with enough treasures to cast a Biotech or a Magda and get lethal? Huh? Why are we attacking with just the Pyramid? I mean, we're gonna block. That is a very weird attack. Okay. Kill the Fear of Missing Out, get drained. Why did they do that? Torch the tower? Oh, that would make sense if they're gonna torch the tower. Plasm. Okay, they didn't have a way to revolt it, I see. Well, that's fine. At least we get the treasures. Well, I mean, we can go hugging. We can go hugging. You know, starting town's not great. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Opponent's at 7. Then you go up to 8, 9. How much? Okay, how much do we need left over? So 9, 8. So if we have 8 mana, that's enough that we can cast either of our 2-drops, sack 6 treasures, make 2 hasty flyers. I guess that doesn't guarantee the win with a... We want to hit the Biotech Specialist. If we hit a Magda, we don't quite win because they can sack their board. We'll see. Now let's Hugs. Do a little drawing. Okay, there's a Magda. Oh, no Biotech, though. Maybe we should have left even more treasures for Magda. Well, sack 3, so we get to sack the treasures, make the flyers, sack the treasures, make the flyers. So our opponent's gonna have to sack. They're gonna have to sack something about it. Sacks. Another Disturbing Mirth. I mean, I guess we could have crewed the spacecraft, but if we do that, we're completely tapped out and we risk losing on the backswing. Opponent sacks. Goes to 1. Well, play the extra land. Play the extra land. About it. Yeah, now we will. Yeah, it might have been better just to go for it pre-combat. That might be a pun. I will say, we might have deserved that Munitions Massacre just a little bit. And we got the combo. Sammy's Curiosity into the Larval Scoutlander. Undefeated. No one has beat that amount of ramp. Well, look at this. Sammy's Curiosity, playing land. Next turn, hello to you, Shahar. Next turn, we can sack it to double ramp. Opponent, Swamp, and ooh, Deep Cavern Bat. All right. Let's see if our opponent realizes that they really need to take the Larval Scoutlander. Larval Scoutlander, yeah, opponent's going to take it. Larval Scoutlander, when you have to sack a land, is kind of mid. But when you sack a lander, it becomes very good. We'll just get on the Overlord, do a little ramping. I think I kind of punted that last match. Found it. I think we should have just went for it. I always play too conservative. I think that's one of my biggest flaws as a Magic player is I always just play too conservative. Not always, but sometimes play too conservative. Like, well, I got 1 card in hand. If that's a removal spell, when sometimes you just got to go for it. You just got to go for it and be like, yeah, what's the worst that can happen? And the worst that can happen is you lose, but still. Yeah, let's play a Mira. Get some raccoon value going. Mira works really well with the X spells. Makes it easy to trigger all the exhausts. It'd be nice if we could find a way to kill these bats and get back our Hugs at some point. Found it. It's us down to 19. The good news is our opponent's Cecile. Opponent's still on 2 lands. Well, make a mana with Mira. Yeah, I think we just Overlord here. It would be nice if we could get enough mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'd be nice if we get enough mana that we could Gold Vein and trigger both modes on Mira. Which means we need to cast an 8 mana value spell at least to expend 8. I mean, we're up at 20 still, so we can take a couple bat beats. Opponent passes. Ooh. Okay, that's a Biotech Specialist. That is what we were looking for. Yeah, let's play the Specialist. Get another lander. We're gonna wait. We're gonna get in with Overlord. If our opponent wants to trade with Cecil, that's fine. Next turn. Next turn, we have enough mana that we can actually do the Gold Vein Hydra thing. Our opponent gonna block the Overlord, sure. As expected. I mean, opponent does take 2 damage. Got him. Yeah, Mira's just a one of, but if it sticks, it can actually be good. And, well, okay, opponent gonna shoot the Sheriff. And apparently we have enough other threats that our opponent's gonna kill the Overlord instead. Well, let's do some landering. Burn ya. Do some landering. Burn ya. Back down to 19. I mean, down to 2 basics, and we have a lot of mana now. All right, so next turn, as long as Mira lives, we can double trigger. Opponent finds land number 3. Opponent definitely has way more cards in hand than we do. Hits us down 18. Well, okay. We are actually not going to complain about another Gold Vein Hydra here. It might be Hydra time. Yeah, let's tap our mana. How about a 9/9? How's about a 9/9? Just don't exile it. No arch enemy's charm, please. Well, we get both modes. We gain 3. We draw impulse draw 2. Yeah, not great, but I mean, I guess at least one of them's a surveil land. So our opponent, they wanna. Wow, they do have arch enemy's charm. Oh, that is a clean answer there. Killing. Ooh, okay. Well, opponent, there will be hell to pay for killing our Gold Vein Hydra. Found it. Cecil again. Sure. And I mean, we can just hell to pay, dump all of our mana into hell to pay on one of the bats, get back our hugs, and make so many treasures that we should just win the next turn. Hell to pay also tap treasures. So unless we have Magda, we can't win right away. Unholy Annex for our opponent. Gets in with the bats. Well, our opponent's tapped down. We don't got to worry about shenanigans. But they have to worry about us casting a really big hell to pay. Are we going to shock ourselves? Is it worth it? I don't even know if we need to shock ourselves here. That might just be greedy. 10 treasures is probably, I mean, 10 treasures is lethal. Yeah, we're not even going to bother. Let's kill the one that has hugs. I think we want hugs more than the lander now. Hell to pay. X10. Double hit on Mira. Snipe the bat, 9 tap treasures for the excess damage. Play the land tapped and pass the turn. All right, opponent, you gotta deal with the Biotech Specialist. We can also just dump all of the mana into a Gold Vein Hydra now, and smash it with like a 20. Is it 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I think we can get a 20 power. Oh no. I mean, that's Bloodletter Backlazats. Thankfully, no combo piece for it. So I guess we just take double damage? Wait, does this mean our... Sure, down to 12. Does this mean our... Oh, our Biotech Specialist is going to live. Okay. Well, that was easier than I expected. Let's float a little mana. And let's play a Hugs. Let's do this the fun way. We're going to cast a Hugs. How can we pass up drawing cards? Yeah, we could cast a big gold main, but what's the fun in that? We're going to cast a Hugs. It seems almost impossible that we lose playing it this way. Okay, there's a Magda. And there's a Biotech Specialist. So that's going to guarantee it. Biotech Specialist comes down, makes a lander. And now all we got to do is sack our treasures for 4 apiece. The insect loves its treasures, and opponent scoops it up, and well, that one went pretty well. That one went really well. Shooting our shots, we're doing it all. We're doing it. It's a mixture here. It's so funny, this deck. It's like half Outer Space Edge of Eternities cards and half Old West Outlaws of Thunder Junction cards. The strangest mix. Oh, wow, opponent's off to a fast start. Llanowar Elves into a Waker of the Grove. Well, I mean, I think we got to make the Warden die. Waker of the Grove. That was another card. Wasn't that a Lorwyn card? Warden of the Grove. Well, opponent land and more Llanowar Elves and Llanowar Tron assembled. Well, they could cast like an Ugin next turn. My Kingdom for a Pyroclasm. Well, I think we're just gonna play this Biotech Specialist, even though it's kinda off curve here. But it sets up some ramp in next turn with the Larval Scout Lander. Hopefully our opponent Screaming Nemesis, that's fine. That's fine. We can deal with that. I was afraid it was going to be some big bomb, but we can take a couple of hits from a Screaming Nemesis. Well, let's play the Larval Scout Lander. Sack the Lander. Get a couple basics. Ping ya down to 16. Play the land. I don't even know if we want towards the tower now. Our opponent has plenty of good targets, but with 3 Llanowars, killing a Llanowar just doesn't seem like it really does anything. Well, there's another Warden of the Grove. Gonna get in and hit us. How about a land? A land would get us to hit the Motherlode. Overlord. Well, let's just do a little hugging. Let's do a little vicious hug here. Hugs. Oh, come on now. All right. Well, I was trusting in hugs to find us a land, but we got badgered. We got a little bit badgered there. Never trust a badger. Found it. Paw Patch Recruit. Gonna get some Oh, is this like a Gruul counters aggro deck? They can still attack with the Screaming Nemesis, and wow, all right, opponent does not attack with the Screaming Nemesis. Well, I mean, I think there's going to be some hell to pay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we use the hell to pay or we lose the hell to pay. I think, so the awkward part of this is it's going to let the paw patches put counters on things, but we're just going to kill Llanowar. Kill a Llanowar, yeah, grow your stuff. This hopefully sets us up to maybe combo kill next turn with Magda. So we're going to have 5 treasures. Magda's crime will be treasure 6. So we sack 3, we sack 3, that's 12, and then we have 2 flyers, that's 20. I mean, I think we just have the full-on 20 damage combo next turn, assuming we're alive, which is actually not a given. It is not a given that we're going to be alive. Opponent has a pretty big board. If they have some removal or some burn or some ridiculous finisher, all right, they're going to grow the Screaming Nemesis. Grow the Screaming Nemesis. Oh, wait, it's only 4, right? It's excess damage. Oh, does that throw everything off? 4 treasures. Now I'm not sure. Oh, okay. Well, if our opponent's going to all-out attack, that's going to make it easier, because now we can probably get in some damage with our creatures. All right, opponent hits us to 3. Come on, no Plasm Bolt or whatever that is. Overlord, whatever. Okay, is this still enough? It is 1 less treasure that I was hoping for. I guess we can hit the Motherlode. Hit the Motherlode, try to hit a low mana value hope we hit a low mana value per net. There's no trying, it's just hoping. But hit you for 1. This would give us a ton more treasures. Come on. Hit the Motherlode. Larval Scoutlander, sure. It's the same amount of treasures either way, right? It's the same amount of treasures, sure. So now we have 7 treasures. Oh, this is the full-on combo kill. Maybe we need more Hit the Motherlodes. Hit the Motherlode's really good when we resolve it. And now we play the Magda using 2 treasures, burn you down to 10. And now Magda can sack the rest of the treasures even though they're tapped, which is the trick of Magda. Sack 3, get a 4/4 flyer, burn you for 6. I mean, that's the synergy, right? That's the synergy of the deck. Magda Biotech Specialist, get you down to 4. Get the dragon, do it again, and we have way more damage than we need. That Hit the Motherlode was great. It was great. Well, all right, opponent. Down to dead. Magda Biotech Specialist. Yes, Magic Arena Gods. I am happy with that match. That was a good one. That was a real good one. Oh, God. It's Crimothy. Oh, no. Are we going to get staxed or milled? Controlled? Oh, wait. Oh. Krim is playing an artifact deck. Okay. Hey, better than Stax or Mill or Control. That's fine. This hand, it's reasonable. Opponent. I think I underestimated Krim's 1-drop over there. The fact that it grows and scales. Legion Extruder. Okay, this has to be weapons. Krim was talking about weapons manufacturing. I bet he's playing a weapons manufacturing deck. That would make the most sense. I think we're gonna get down Magda. We could kill old Rusty over there, but it's better once we have a Magda down. Yeah. Legion Extruder number 2, eh? Ginger Brute. That's not what we wanted to see. Crim. I'll get down the starting town. I guess we just Impending Overlord now. Yeah, I bet this is weapons manufacturing. It's gotta be. All right, Crim. What do you got over there, Crim? What do you got with your Legion Extruders? But the thing I underestimate about Rusty over there is it grows based on its power, right? So the first activation's 2, the next one's 3, the next one's 4. So even though it's a little more mana than a Grim Lavamancer, in the right deck, I think it's got some potential. Well, okay. We cannot let you beat us down with these artifacts, Grim. There's gonna be some hell to pay. Let's kill this Sir Ginger and make just a few treasures, just a handful, just a little off the top. I mean, we are down to 11, and by that I mean 9. And there's a piggy bag. Man, we got to do something soon. Is it hit the motherload time? We could play a big gold vein. I mean, this game is coming to, oh, that's a Magda. Wait, so now we know oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's great. Okay. Look at that surveil land. And we know the Magda's on top. So we get the Magda for free. And we get 8 more treasures with the one on the battlefield that's 4 hasty 4/4 flyers. If we had Biotech Specialist, we would literally win the game right now. Sadly, we do not. But I think 3 hasty 4/4 flyers is still actually not bad. It still might be enough. Sack, Magda doing work. Here comes the dragons. Hit ya. Crim down to 8. Well, now the question is, can Crim kill us? I still think this is a weapons manufacturing deck. I think it's weapons manufacturing when you don't draw weapons manufacturing, which honestly might be one of the problems. Oh, warping out of impact tremors, full on attack. Well, Magda, you've done your job. Yeah, let's block Ginger Brew. Send it to heaven with Sir Ginger, the way Throne of Eldraine intended. And they can sack the piggy bank, burn us for 4 down to 4/3, and they get a treasure. Oh, all right. That was close, but in the end, the power of Magda, and we got to rub it in a little bit with Grim, just a little off the top with the Gold Vein Hydra. Oh, usually Crim I think beats us on early access day, but not this time. Treasures get their revenge, and yeah, that's Biotech Specialist. So what do we learn this week about Biotech Specialist in our treasure deck for Edge of Eternities standard? And record-wise, I'm actually not sure our exact record. It was somewhere right around 50% win rate, maybe a little bit below. It was early access. My tracker doesn't keep track of it. Plus, records just don't really matter that much on early access day. More importantly, the deck felt really cool. There's so many sweet synergies, and I will say, out of all the decks I played in early access, this deck led to some of the most interesting games. I don't know if it's the strongest deck I played during early access, but it was definitely one of the decks that just led to some of my favorite games during early access. And I think that the synergies are really, really powerful. We got to see some really cool Biotech Specialist skills. We got to see hit the motherload, spin into a Magda, make 8 treasures, let us sack all the treasures to make hasty dragons to win the game. There's just so many cool synergies and lines. This deck is like if you took Aristocrats and somehow married it to a ramp deck, but it also cared about treasures, and that's how you end up here with this weird pile of cards. I think the biggest challenge for the deck is sometimes it can be a little bit clunky. We have a lot of these big X spells, and if we don't hit any of our ramp early, our Gold Vein Hydras and our Hell to Pays can be a little bit slow and clunky. The good news is the ramp in this deck's actually very strong, and some of the cards that impressed me were actually the Lander tokens. I think Sammy's Curiosity with Larval Scoutlander actually is very, very strong and could be the foundation of a real standard deck, especially with Biotech Specialist for even more Lander tokens. But if you can double ramp with Larval Scoutlander, that is, I think, the best ramp spell that we have access to in standard now. Plus, even like Sammy's Curiosity, yes, I know, you gotta pay 1 mana to make the Lander and then 2 to crack it, so it's more expensive than a Rampant Growth, but if you weren't doing anything on turn 1 anyway, it kind of plays like standard Rampant Growth, and we haven't had Rampant Growth in standard for a long time. But I gotta say, I just love the deck. The synergies are super cool, it plays really interesting games, and I think Biotech Specialists, don't sleep on this card. I think this card is a legit staple, and I wouldn't be surprised to see this one showing up all the way back to Modern in some Academy Manufacture decks. It lives up to the hype. We just saw this card deal so much damage, and we're doing this with Hell to Pay and some janky treasure producers. Imagine once you get back to Modern and you got stuff like Academy Manufacture just really pop off with these tokens. So Biotech Specialist felt great. The Lander token ramp plan actually felt really good, and then I just love that we get to play stuff like Hell to Pay and Hugs and Hit the Motherload, cards that we don't really play play in any other deck, but they work really well if you're specifically trying to make as many treasures as possible. But anyway, that is Killing with Treasures. That is Biotech Specialist. That's our Much Abrew for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.